you're taking a little bit of a risk when you're going up against a team. Yeah, you might get an elimination, and you do need those. That's actually very key. But the thing is at the same time, you need intel so though you don't get ambushed yourself. Alpha, on the other hand, have been unlucky. I think they've gotten eliminated 12th in almost two out of the 3 rounds.
Oh, yeah.
They've struggled right now. So Alpha need to figure something out, get themselves back in this game.
We are just on the halfway point, so there are plenty of chances for some of these teams on the back foot to at least pull this back. It's not over yet, Holler. We've seen that yesterday.
Yeah.
It was a deadlock to the very end. But to Alpine, some of these teams love Alpine. One of that is definitely the homeboys of MCPS, AV Radicals. But so far, this team has been oddly quiet.
Yeah, awfully quiet because they've been more reactive, right? They've got, they've gotten into fights where they lose a member. They're not able to kind of close things out. And so they've been almost just trying to run away, just res up, just survive, right? And AV Radicals, this is not the team that we know from MCPS. And they tend to be a little bit more aggressive. They want to get the fights in, but they haven't gotten that ball rolling.
Yeah, well, HQ Esports, RQ Kazu has gotten that ball rolling for sure. 2 members of HQ Esports already on the ground. Tyson getting brought back up, instantly knocked back down. Legola doing every single work needed to give RQ Kazu that hit start, and so far it is working out. Can Artemis win this one? The answer is absolutely no. RQ Kazu draws first blood.
Oh, that's a huge one. I mean, he had a chance, but there were just too many numbers. And HQ Esports on the bottom with 5. I don't know if they actually, I think they might have gotten a couple points or so, but I mean, at the end of the day, that's going to be a quick first half for them. HQ Esports all the way in the bottom in 12th right there. That did not help their cause.
It's a pattern that we have seen since yesterday's play-in, where teams that are willing to take the risk, teams that are willing to get aggressive at the right time, who believe in the mechanical prowess, actually win most of those skirmishes. And we're seeing the exact opposite for more responsive teams, right? AV Radicals, HQ Esports, even yesterday, Expand to a certain extent, Infinity VX, just to name a few. They have been preyed on because they are not willing to take that fight. They felt like they were being pressured. There was a lot of hesitation. And it's just very unlucky for HQ Esports to kind of fall into that category.
Yeah, and RRQ, yes, they did eliminate HQ Esports. Props to them for that. But now it looks like Naguara have heard the cry, and they're like coming at you. They understand that there's somebody nearby. They need to ensure that they do get this secure. And then this is what we wanted to see from Naguara. Again, another team kind of on the bottom. They're 10th place right now with only 9 points. They need to figure things out. And they've done well that in the play-ins. They were able to ambush. They were able to secure and vulture as many kills as possible. We need to see more of that from Naguara.
Yeah, and so far, it hasn't been a good finals for Naguara. Yesterday, they were almost tied up with Magic Squad, right? They were really aggressive, taking initiative, winning fights, and they only really had one underwhelming round, but it seems like that underwhelmingness has been translated into the finals, where they are still making the moves. They are still Naguara Esports, but they are not winning the fights that you thought they would.
Yeah, not yet. And I think it's like one of those things where, hey, we're doing so poorly. Let's just play, like pump the brakes right here. Let's just ensure that we're going to be as safe as possible, get ourselves in an opportunity to maybe win to the mid to late game. Maybe you get a little bit lucky. And that's what they need right now because, look at RRQ down. They're wounded. Yes, they've gotten the 5 eliminations, which is great. But it's a situation where, again, you've taken that risk. You've taken some damage. Now you're in this weird spot where you only have 2 members alive.
And Naguara pounces on the opportunity, right? They got, I think Faku just got another kill, so it's only 1 thus far for Naguara, but it's kind of what they need. They also see Razor trying to bolt for safety, but Naguara Esports is a team that when they smell blood, they go for the jugular. And it seems like they are going to try and at least hunt Razor down. This is a team that, in their local region, are known to be slow starters but strong finishers. And if there's anything, if we see them take down RQ Kazu, that might be the morale boost that they are looking for.
That's huge. That would absolutely be huge. RQ, of course, was in 5th place, behind the Thai and the Brazilian team, so they are definitely one of the top dogs. And if they can get this one, and Razor just trying to run for his life, and Naguara are trying to do what they can, but I don't know if they can draw a beat. They're getting some shots in on Razor here.
Naguara, the Rush Kings are coming for blood. Razor, he still has a chance if he can find isolated fights. You can see that he has that double barrel shotgun in his hands, but he needs to make sure that he finds Naguara's member alone. They're just going to go in. Razor does it once. Can Brad keep this alive and afloat for Naguara Esports? He wants to go for the revive on Faku first, and he has a bit of time to do so. Razor gets caught by a flashback, still takes down Faku. This guy does not miss, and now Brand trapped inside a plethora of glue walls. Razor has it surrounded. It's a 1 versus 1. Brand saves it for the team.
Oh, gosh, that was so close. The 50-50 there. Yes, he did the style. He did get the shotty as well, but Nagawara now down to only 2 members. They've got 2 eliminations, which is great, but they thought they were having an advantage. But when you can't win a 2 versus 1, and you know what I mean, do it cleanly, you're going to have a problem. So right now, Brand is on the run. They're going to look to just regroup and make sure that they're, at full strength, hopefully by the 6-minute mark.
And thankfully, they did have Yiko, who was not with the team, so he got to revive Maxi at least at the buy zone, but this is going to be a bit dicey for K because their members are split apart. It's 2 of K's members surrounded by the entire team of SDS Alpine.
Yeah, General is taking some damage here. He's actually very low. That grenade could potentially do it, but it's a little off the mark. Modesta's taking some damage. Jojo is actually been knocked, and it looks like there's going to be a little bit of a fight here with SES and Keed.
Yeah, Modesta and General are doing great work. They are taking down the members of SDS Alpine one by one. General finally brought to his knees, but it's only Bara left alive for SDS Alpine. Dead God joining. They are rendezvousing with the rest of the team. K are coming in for the wipeout, and K does exactly that.
All right, SES has not had a good run this far as well. They were the #1 seed from Indonesia, just kind of struggling. Yes, they were 7th place. They are okay in that situation, but again, you do not want to get eliminated in 11th there. And it looks like Keed is going to come out the victors on that one, and it looks like the Brazilians are getting richer.
And so far, in the first 2 rounds, there were some questions thrown at Kate and Magic Squad, but more towards Kate. Are they the first seed of Brazil? And if they are, what have we been missing? And I think from last round onwards, they have been showing us that they are persistent, they are consistent. Again, just like Magic Squad, no booyah yet for Brazil, but they are keeping tabs with Evo's Phoenix and Nigma Galaxy. And those 4 eliminations just now are very critical to potentially catapult them into first place.
Yes, and that's where you want to be. You just got to be within striking distance. That's the biggest thing, making sure that you're getting those placement points just enough to kind of keep it very competitive. Magic Squad have been a decent job of kind of, vulturing what they can. They've been very well coordinated, a very patient team. They stick around and they take fights only when the risk is somewhat mitigated, and so that's a good situation for them. And they'll continue to just peek out, again, take things slow. It hasn't even been 7 minutes.
And while that was happening, Modestia just got his 4th elimination of this round. And I believe the Relentless member is from RRQ. RRQ Kazu very, very spread out, so you kind of find yourselves in situations where you get picked off easily. This storyline about Brazil against Thailand is so heated. The trophy of the World Series has not left Thailand for almost 2 years. Brazil they are here to gun for it.
All right, every single World Series has been won by a Brazilian team or a Thai team. So there's a reason why they're the top dogs.
It's 2-1 in favor of Thailand.
Yeah. And so we're going to find out who can, win this one today. I think that one's going to be the ultimate, test, so to speak. I mean, the trophy's going to be behind us. It's in Bangkok. Do they have the audacity to take it out by another country?
Well, if we look at the patterns, right?
Yeah.
Brazil won their first World Series, and it was in Rio.
Yep.
Now in Bangkok, Thailand, maybe just putting out there.
But 3 in a row from Thailand, though?
It's not possible, right? They're still in the lead.
Yeah.
They're very much up there. Even if we come down to a tiebreaker, that they are winning by booyah, but just at this point of time.
Yes.
Nagawara Esports stepping up a bit. We saw them got those early eliminations just now. And they're keeping it sit. They're keeping it tight together. And that's what we want to see from Nagawara Esports.
Definitely, and they're playing smarter, right? And I think that they're sticking together, making sure that they're playing as a team. AV Radicals, another team that's been largely off the radar. They have not had a great start to this finals as well. I mean, yes, this is 4th round. They need some points, get themselves back into this one. They're in 9th place right now with only 14 points, and they are definitely on the bottom looking up.
The Magic Squad just caught a glimpse of Alpha. At least having 2 of their members moving into that shack on that motorbike. Unfortunately for RRQ, Kazu Razor expires to that blue zone. And RRQ Kazu, one of the more underwhelming rounds for them.
Yeah, I mean, they were 5th place. They were only like 2 points behind Keed and Nigma Galaxy, so a bit of a travesty for them. Going out in 10th, that's a rough start. And it's kind of one of those things that even when we talk about the plans, right? We saw X-Band get 2 booyahs. I mean, and they had some bomb of rounds. They did not do well in some, and it's all about consistency. Yeah, you are the highest of the high in terms of booyahs and kills, but at times, when you have some bad games, it's going to really hurt your performance.
It's like, how bad is a bad game, right? For Expand, it really felt like they didn't play 2 rounds.
Yeah.
But you can say the same for Evo's Phoenix. They came back and won 3 booyahs. So there's that discrepancy. But I do agree on the fact that what has happened to Expand yesterday basically kind of translates into AV Radical, right? It has been kind of an ongoing issue for the MCPS region, where when we look at the bigger leagues, when we look at tougher competitions, the more reserved part of these teams start to show. It could be stage jitters, it could be just not as much confidence, but when we see that reflect on AV Radical's gameplay for the past 3 rounds, it is very evident that they are not confident enough to take these initiatives.
Yeah, and it's weird. It's an interesting difference of style of play from what we're used to seeing, right? Because in all of the other leagues, right, you play against teams that you're very familiar with, so you have a rough idea of how you want to play things.
Yeah.
And it seems like, you know, the AV Radicals of old have kind of not been what we've seen in the past, right? Where they tend to be aggressive, they tend to take as many eliminations as possible, and they're kind of almost reacting to the international style of play, which is very different.
Yeah, and this is the debut as a region and as a team. There's a lot to be desired. I think, you know, when you look at AV Radicals, you are looking at the young stars to really pop off. But if you only use that as a pivot, then it becomes really difficult for AV Radicals to show up in tough moments. Meanwhile, we see Ignis Esports getting gunned down by the members of K. They've already had Eric on the ground, but thankfully there's no kills just yet. K, though, they are not going to hesitate to go into that blue zone if they can get a couple of pickups. That's going to be very crucial for Ignis to hold on.
Yeah, they're going to look to just try to go on the opposite end of this one. Eric gets left for dead. He's probably going to be killed here. I mean, there's no one nearby, but it looks like Ignis Esports are talking about survival. We got to keep ourselves alive and give ourselves a chance. We don't want to take this fight against Keed. We think that Keed have the far superior position. But now, Evo's Phoenix for eliminations. This is the #1 squad right now, tied, yes, with Magic Squad. But again, it's all about the booyahs. They've ensured that they're in a prime position to win. They've had momentum even from yesterday's play-in. They're continuing to do that now. It seems like Evo's Phoenix are hitting the ground running.
I love what they're doing, right? They have Jonah on scouting duty, and they use that information of Naguara Esports being nearby to just completely dodge them. And Jonah, he's going to be left behind by a bit, but that's very important for Evo's Phoenix to continue tracking their enemies. Jonah's going to be that guy to do so. Evo's Phoenix, even if they lose him, they will still have 2 more members and a buy zone to bring their teammates back to life. But on the other hand, Ignis Esports, they just avoid the K and then run into the 2nd seed of Brazil. Magic Squad says hello, and Jason will be eliminated.
Yeah, Drax there. That's the MVP, I would say. At least in yesterday's play-ins there from Magic Squad, they've ensured that they're getting as many kills as possible. And Carlos does go down in the end, but it looks like Enigma Galaxy has actually sniped that vultured that one away. And it looks like Magic Squad have only 1 elimination. Alpha, another team on the bottom. They need to get themselves back into this one. They've been playing pretty much, you know, hiding in the corners and don't want to take any fight. Hopefully they get something towards the end.
And that was since round number 2, where they failed the rush against Kate. It felt like they decided to take a step back. But Moshi, he is being incredibly cheeky on this truth. I believe he also just got brought back, so there's not much resources for him. The rest of Evo's Phoenix will have to escort him out into safety, but unfortunately it's guarded by teams like Naguara Esports and Vasto Mundo, and Luca has seen that truck pass by. This is very crucial for Jonah to not go down, but unfortunately he has been stranded out in the open with 2 different teams firing at him. And Jonah, his time is running out pretty soon. Luca will get the knock, and I think Vasto Mundo should secure this elimination. Yeah,
they'll take that one. He eventually goes down in the end, but Vasto Mundo will, I mean, they were getting some shots in with Naguara. I'm not sure who vultured that one in the end, but Evo's Phoenix eliminated 8th. That's your #1 standing team right now, already eliminated. Enigma Galaxy, that's another top dog, and it looks like they're going to be going up against Magic Squad here.
And Italo saw 3 of the Enigma Galaxy members just walk past him, so there's a lot of information for Magic Squad to work with. GU is going to be the first one to get knocked down. They also have Drax in the red, so Magic Squad don't really have the help to take on Enigma Galaxy right now. It's the best chance for NGX to pull this one out of the bag, take down MGS, and perhaps put themselves in a more comfortable situation.
Yeah, you have numbers though. Enigma Galaxy right now with 4 against 3. Magic Squad are playing this smart. They're going around the other side of the flank, and they realize that they're going to use the Storm to advantage. Nobody's going to be behind them. But now, Magic Squad, will they be flushed out? Do they need to make a move? Enigma Galaxy holding down angles, making it difficult for Magic Squad to make any sort of movement.
And NGX, they're controlling the bridge as well. That's the doorway that Magic Squad might be looking to utilize. But since the blue zone is pushing both of them back, you can see that these 2 teams are moving in parallel. From house to house, from building to building. NGX, though, have better cover to work with.
Oh, nice shot there. Bop's right there, looking to go for Enigma Galaxy. But now, They're in the storm. They do need to be careful. Enigma Galaxy don't want to make the first move. They're going to let Magic Squad make the move there. Some glue walls providing some cover.
Perfect shot by Dew. Bobs is down. Drax is in the red. Blue Zone pressuring him, and the members of Magic Squad, they are just scattering into the wind, desperately trying to help each other out. Bobs runs left, Italo runs right, but they all run into Enigma Galaxy's crosshair, and NGX wipes out Magic Squad.
Oh, NGX, that's the perfect way to do it, right? Yes, they were in the storm, but Magic Squad made the first move. They flinched first, and they paid with their lives. Enigma Galaxy took advantage of that one. 4 teams left, but keyed. 8 eliminations. Modestia, this guy has been on fuego. 5 eliminations.
This guy is an absolute beast. He was also the one that kept them alive when Alpha rushed them on Kalahari. And there's a reason why Modestia is such a reverent player. This is going to give K such a good spot to work with. They might not have the circle, but they have a lot of space as Nando continues to rack up the numbers. But on the other end, it's Vasto Mundo against Alpha. Crusher getting that elimination onto Gata. Unfortunately for NGX, they are also involved in this battle with a 3-way fight. Stop gets a knock, but unfortunately for Gata, he trades right back. Crusher also wants to chip in. NGX, they're looking to push forward. They bring Field Goal back up. Alpha is already out. We're down to the top 3 teams.
Oh, Alpha was right in between Enigma Galaxy and Vastamundo. No real space. All the angles were covered. There was grenades left and right. Very difficult situation for them. I mean, they survived to top 4, which is going to give them some placement points, but I don't think they got enough elimination points. Now, Enigma Galaxy still in great position here. Vastamundo, they're the ones on fire, though. They've got all of the eliminations.
NGX is the only team with 3 members left. Crusher crushes that hope with a good nade, but there's still some time. General says no, steals it away from Vasto Mundo. Cade is here to play. We talk about the Brazilian teams, and Cade has used a time turner, broken the Riptide Rhythm, broken the glue wall, and another nade overhead onto Crusher. Cade is here to claim their first booyah from Brazil since yesterday. Modestia with the Charge Buster in the face of Vasto Mundo. Luca, the last one alive. Can he do this on his own? The answer is no, and vamos for Cade to get the first booyah in the finals.
Cade right there, stepping up. That was like a dominant performance, I would say. I mean, they got a ton of eliminations. I think we're going to have to see the exact numbers, but I think around 13 or so, that's exactly what they wanted to do. Get themselves back into this one. They were top 4. That's going to springboard them up even further. They got a ton of eliminations, and they got the booyah.
It's just incredible performance from K. We've seen this team from round 1 until round number 4, and we were wondering how high up they would place. When is the time for them to get the booyah? And they finally showed up just nice at the halfway point, putting Brazil in a good spot. But we do have the highlights coming up, and let's take a look. How did K get the booyah? An amazing round number 4 by Cade, getting the very first booyah in the 350 series Bangkok 2022 for Brazil. But most importantly, they put themselves on the map as a real contender.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you got the booyahs, you got the eliminations. That's pretty much all you needed, right? That is the perfect round. You need to build on that momentum. Speaking of another team that's building on momentum, Vastamundo stepped up. That was their best performance thus far. I'm not sure how many eliminations they get, but they really needed those points. They got it, and that's exactly what they needed.
And I think this also quells some of the doubts people might have about Vastamundo, where they stand. Best team from EU. The roster has been together for a very long time, and the first 3 rounds didn't really justify that. But it's great to see Vastamundo make it to round 4 in top 3. albeit not getting the booyah, I think they put up a really good fight. It was just very unfortunate that they had to go up against Kate and Ligma Galaxy.
Yeah, it was a weird situation that's eventually going to happen, and that's why these games have been so fire, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because at the end of the day, yeah, EVO's Phoenix might be eliminated, Ligma Galaxy might be eliminated, but then you have Keed, you have, Vastamundo, you have all of these Titans here, but let's talk about the standings going into this one. Keed on top, 26 points, 14 eliminations plus the Booyah. That's a great match.
Yeah, and of course, they haven't gotten the top record, but it's not as important as getting this Booyah and making sure that they get decent amount of points. Vastamundo in second with 17, like you mentioned, Holler, the best round that they've had so far in the finals, and this is going to at least put them on track to perhaps make it to that top 4. But NGX, they have a slower round, they finished third, and they got 14 points. Their counterparts, unfortunately, Esports Phoenix, getting 7 points, tying up with Magic Squad.
Yeah, they're still going to be scoring a lot of points, but again, let's give a little bit of credit in terms of some of the bottom team, so to speak. Naguaro with 9, that's a great win for them. Alpha getting that, the placement points was huge. They got caught in the middle between 2 other teams. That was a weird situation towards that part, but Alpha played that one smart. That's what they need to do. They need to ensure that they're doing that, but if we're going to talk about the overall standings for this piece, I think that there's going to be a little bit of a shakeup on the top.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, RQ Kazu, they are known as a late game team. They play very slow, but they got a lot of eliminations in the previous round. It still isn't enough to put them in top 4, but it keeps them very close. RQ Kazu with 49, but we have to turn our eyes and attention to Keed right now in first place, 70 points, basically 12 points ahead of NGX.
Yeah, and Keed, it's one of those things, it's like the tortoise and the hare, right? Are you getting to that early start? Can you keep that up going into this one? Of course, just 4 rounds. We have the second half. We have 4 more to go. We have plenty of games, but that was a statement win. That's exactly what you want to do. You want to build on that lead, right? We're talking about 2021 Free Fire World Series, Evo's Phoenix. They won 3 Booyahs out of 6 of the matches. They had it. It was no contest. Keed want to repeat that performance.
And the best part is now they have 2 more chances to do it, right, in this new format with 8 total rounds. I mean, this Booyah happened at the best possible round for them, the best scenario. They not only, we didn't only just see Evo's Phoenix getting knocked out earlier than expected, we also had Kate basically getting a lot of kills and being able to secure them with those utilities. NGX went into the last circle wounded because of Vastamundo, and Kate were like, you know what, Vastamundo, you guys did the hard work, we will claim the reward for ourselves.
Definitely so. And the MVP of the last matchup, we're going to see it. Drum roll, please. And of course, it's Modestia, right? 8 eliminations. This is a no-brainer. The fact that Keed was, getting so many kills and, has a 12-point lead in first place or so. 8 eliminations off the back of Modestia.
And this is a guy that I have been stressing a lot. I kept saying that we gotta keep an eye on Modestia, and I was just waiting for that one moment for him to really show up. I'm glad it was this moment. We also have to look at the match leaders for round number 4, and I would say that Modestia is definitely at the top of the pack with 8 elimination, but he's also followed by Luca from Vastamundo with 4, and of course Dew from Ligma Galaxy with 3.
Okay, having seen the Europe Pro League, Vastamundo, they kind of ride or die on Luca. This is a guy that gets a decent amount of eliminations. This is a great game. This is a bounce-back game. Can they make a run into the second half? But let's talk a little bit about the key players of that game 4, which was actually quite key. Caramel, assist king. You got to help out. You got to get the support. Modestia, not only was he the MVP with all the eliminations, but he's the glue wall master with 14.
And the rest of the list is also K members, right? Nando9 with 10 glue walls destroyed. He had that retire rhythm down to a T, just landing it on the perfect timing. And not to forget, Dead God also from Kate, having that damage, 800 damage block using the time turner, is keeping Kate in the fight, but also allowing them to get these pickoffs. It is pretty impressive how they were threatened, but they were not really pressured as we thought they would.
True. And when Kate have a dominant performance like that, there's a reason why the key players are going to be 3 out of 4 in terms of, their team securing all of these awards, so to speak, because they were just on another level. I think that, for a team to do that again, it shows the real mettle of the team. Is it going to be possible? I mean, Cade, anything, the world is their oyster, so to speak. But let's talk a little bit about the next maps. We played 4 rounds thus far. What's going on in the second half?
We are going to run it back because we have just gone past the halfway point. It is the last sprint, the last marathon for all of these teams out in the arena. We will start back on the Bermuda, and afterwards it's going to be the same sequence, right? Kalahari, Purgatory, and Alpine. But Bermuda was the feasting ground of EVO's Phoenix at the start of the evening. I do wonder if EVO's Phoenix can do it again, because this is a map that a lot of teams from Brazil, from Latam, from MENA, they favor this map, but they haven't been able to really crack the code.
Yeah, they haven't. I mean, it's difficult, right? Again, just the teams, the level of play has just been so high. But going back to this one, now, if you were coach of, let's just say the bottom 6. I don't want to name names or anything like that, but one of the teams, like, you know what I mean? Like, what are you telling them? What are you getting themselves prepped up to in terms of going into the second half?
Well, this is a tough question, but I think from my perspective, if you are already on the back foot, I would say try taking risks. And it's something I want to see in teams like HQ Esports and AB Radicals and maybe Alpha. And Alpha did take the risk, it just didn't work out. But for the other 2 examples, they haven't really shown that they are willing to make that first move. And if you keep playing passive, so far these past 4 rounds have proved that you are going to get feast on.
True. And you talked about Alpha kind of stepping it up, trying to be a little bit different, and that's right. But they were unlucky. I think they got 1 elimination in all of that. And yeah, they were like almost in every single fight. But the fact that they were just kind of caught out and not able to do that was, a little unlucky by Alpha.
You know what they say, you miss every shot you don't take, you miss every chess piece that you don't move. So at the end of the day, if they are not really doing well passively, you gotta take the initiative. That will be left for the next round. We're gonna take a short break and we will come back for round number 5 of the finals.